So here's the Minn-Dakota Industries auger mount for the front of a Ranger 1000 XP. I'm not sure if it will fit on the new Ranger 1000, but they're easy to find online, Minn-Dakota Industries. They have a Facebook webpage. So we take this up to Lake Winnipeg. We did last year. We go up there at least once a year, and Lake Winnipeg tests out equipment more than any other place that I've been to ice fishing. You're up there bouncing around on the lake for a few days, and we took this up there last year. The mounting location is right there under the Fairlead. I did not have the winch on last year. There is a bracket that's included in the with the winch when you install it. Let's see, right here with the welded nuts on each end. It's just a U-shaped bracket, doesn't go all the way around the Fairlead opening. That might stiffen things up a little bit, but this Minn-Dakota mount it's about 1/4 inch thick and much thicker than the steel on the bumper. So I was concerned that the steel on the bumper was going to flex, and eventually, yes, it did. So I had to cinch it up with a ratchet strap going across the bumper and the auger mount. That got me home, got me fishing the last day without having to come in to try to fix it any other way. But this year, I'm not going to take any chances. I wanted to have a permanent fix. So this is what I came up with. I just have one side installed right now. I'll show you what hardware I'm using. But this is the finished installation on this side. So we have a turnbuckle there. We got jam nuts, and the jam nuts didn't come with the turnbuckle. And just remember, with a turnbuckle, one of the eye bolts is left-hand thread. The other one is a standard right-hand thread. So if you're going to buy a jam nut, which I suggest, so it doesn't wiggle loose, then you need one left-hand threaded one. And this center portion is aluminum, so also with those jam nuts, I feel like it's going to have less strain on those threads because it's only threaded in this tapered area here. So good to protect those threads. I don't know how they'd hold up if it ended up loosening up when you weren't aware of it and then had that auger bouncing out there. I think it would pull those threads right out. The original auger mount doesn't come with these. That is to hold my shovel. I'll show everything mounted up here too after I get it all installed and tightened up. Now, in order to do this, I moved the original mounting bolts for this digger auger from this location on each side to one of the center, 3 center holes. So I did that on both sides. And all that does is attach the digger to this strap of aluminum down here, but figured why not, just put those extra fasteners out there. I needed larger fasteners here, so I had to drill this out to a 3/8 in order to fit that 3/8 bolt through. I bought some roll cage mounts, like flag mounts. I actually use these for my flags on the Razor. So this is the same 1.75 inch diameter tube that the Razor roll cage is. So that worked out pretty good. It was really nice to have just a standard size tube there and just buy some mounts that are nice and sturdy. So I also had to drill out the thicker metal here on the, this is one piece of steel all the way across, but had to drill that out to 3/8 as well. Just took a step drill bit and drilled that out. So I think I'm going to really like this auger mount now. One other question I get is, does it block your headlights? And it does block the driver's side where the motor of the auger is, but some light does get through. I would suggest maybe adding a light bar, for distance vision, but we made it through just fine. I don't plan on adding any lights yet for that reason, but I will be adding lights, and when I do, I'll probably put them up in front of the mirrors I'll probably put a couple cubes right off of those bolts for the roll cage. But we'll see what happens at that time. So now the hardware that I used is right here. So this is part of the turnbuckle. You can see there. I wanted to have something between the eye bolt and the threads on the bolt that holds it on. So I bought these threaded washer sleeves. I don't know what they're called, but they work pretty good. And so that's what the eye bolt rests on. It's able to be cinched down really tight. This washer fits right over the top of that, and then where my fingers are, that's where the flag mount goes. So it all cinches down really nice and snug. Then on the other side, I did the same thing, but with those threaded washers. You could put this upside down, put the threaded washer on the other direction, but what I ended up doing here before I realized, that it worked pretty well that way, is I cut the washer portion off of that threaded sleeve. So I just used the sleeve portion. I couldn't find any sleeves in the hardware store at the time when I was looking, so this is how I ended up doing it, and it worked out well. But again, this one also cinches up like that, nice and snug. And then I do put a jam nut up against all of this to space it out. I'll show you where that jam nut is. The jam nut is right underneath there between the black washer and the silver washer, and that was just to get this more level so I wouldn't have to worry about flexing anything. So that worked out pretty well too. So now I'll get everything installed and put the auger on and the shovel and show you what it looks like all finished up. A couple other things. I did have to buy new bolts for the Fairlead. These are, I believe they're 40 millimeters long. They're a little bit long, but they don't cause any problem in the back being that long. They're stainless, and before I mounted the mount onto the front bumper, I put large washers, rubber washers, between the bumper and the bracket here, so it would maybe keep the paint intact. It really, I guess, flexed the steel last year, and when it did that, it took some of the paint off. So another tip is Rust-Oleum black, blends in really well. I hit it with that after straightening out the metal a little bit and sanding it down some, and really couldn't even tell anything had ever happened. So I'm going to try those rubber washers. Last year I put some rubber between the two pieces of steel too, but obviously that didn't keep everything tight. So this time I think it's much more sturdy. The other thing is, if this system proves itself, I do plan on replacing everything with stainless if it starts to rust. I just don't like rust on anything, so we'll see how it holds up. I just didn't want to spend the extra money for stainless until I knew this system was going to work. Here it is all loaded up. It's really solid, much more solid than it was. Took all of the flex, all the vibration out of it. I actually sat on it and bounced a little bit before I put the auger on, so that's well over 200 pounds, so the auger shouldn't be a problem. I'm going to leave this mounted up just like this for the next couple weeks, or however long it takes to feel confident that it's going to last up in Winnipeg. We'll see how it handles over some bumps and rough terrain, things that we might encounter up there. So this shovel is mounted with these grips. They just loosen up like that. They're really flexible in the cold weather, and they hold really well. Just used them 1 year, last year, and so we'll see how they hold up, but they seem like they're doing just fine. So they're not that expensive. I'll put that link below. Got them off Amazon. And they do adjust. There are different sizes too if you have something else to hold other than these. And I mounted them as far out as I could to be as stable as I could. You have to watch out for, to avoid the vertical bolt that holds everything together. So I went out a little bit beyond that and mounted the shovel just past those. So really happy with how this turned out. I wanted it to be solid like it is. I wanted to be able to cinch it up easily on the ice with simple tools if it does loosen up. And also I wanted to make sure that I didn't make any scratches or dents or flex the steel on the Ranger. I wanted to be able to take this off in the spring and not even know it was there. Here's how the auger is secured on here. Now, to me, this has been very secure. I read some reviews that made me kind of question whether or not this digger auger carrier was worth it. But tell you what, I don't know. If you snug this up, I put mine right on the joint between the auger extension and the auger shaft, and I just put it right in there. If you cinch this thing up, it does flex the auger a little bit, just barely noticeable. And we didn't have any trouble with that over the terrain we were going on. So it is really solid. There's just a couple of nuts, a nut and a jam nut. It's a nylock and a jam nut. That is how you adjust how tight this is. So I can carry my Jiffy like this, or I can carry my Ion, and haven't needed to adjust it between the two, but if I did need to, it just takes a couple minutes with 2 wrenches. So nice simple system. I like it. Very quick to take off and start punching holes. So let me know if you have any questions. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you later.